So with my observations about the weather, the weather has a lot to do with how business is conducted. I mean, if the courts can allow COVID to dictate when the courts are open, they close down courthouses over COVID. Something that can't be seen, okay? But when the weather is bad, oh, we could tough that out. We can't tough out COVID, but we could certainly tough out the weather. It's really showing a bad pattern of behavior on the court's part, especially for people to argue in the court's favor on closing down the courthouse for one epidemic, but saying that it should remain open for another. It's a bit of a double standard there, especially when it's just not clear on when one hits and when one does hit. It's just amazing. It's like it seems like if there's a fire, the people would argue that the courthouse should also remain open as well. And I had a situation back in 2016 where there was a fire throughout the forest between Boise and Idaho City, and they kept the courthouse open for the people that could make it. But I mean, when they're closing down roads around the courthouse to prevent access, which in 2016 that forced the prosecutor to have to phone in. While I was there, I spent about a month in Idaho City waiting on my court date, and the lawyer, who was a court-appointed lawyer for me, he was in Boise and just barely made it in time through before the road was closed, before the fires swept over the road. He made it. So when places all around the courthouse are closed, okay, you'll see that. You'll see that businesses will close, libraries will close, yet the courthouse is supposed to remain open. All right, there's a pattern of behavior there that really, it goes to show a political bias. I would say, I would call it a bit of a political bias. All right, it's opinionated on whether the people think that the courthouse should close or not, and this is based on certain conditions that lead to closure. Okay, and I try to prepare for it. Okay, and in a lot of cases, I stayed in the area when I could tolerate it. But to make accommodations, when you say make accommodations, I would expect that to be even across the board. If I can make accommodations, then everybody can. But what if some people cannot? Then bias starts to come into play. Then politics start to come into play. Okay? When there comes to be a situation where not everybody can make accommodations for certain climates and stuff, I can make some accommodations, especially if this was in California. It's very easy to make accommodations in California, okay? But you have to choose whether you're gonna live a lifestyle of a winter person in Montana, or a southern person, or a hot climate person in the south like Louisiana. You're actually making a commitment to a certain lifestyle when you're in the Midwest, okay? Living in the extreme cold, where they don't turn on the air conditioner in a lot of ways. Some don't even bother having an air conditioner in the far north, or in the deep south where they don't even bother having a heater. Okay, when it's cold in Louisiana in January, if it gets to freezing, just 32 degrees, they'll close down schools. But when it gets too hot, they'll let each other die. Okay, I mean, 2 years ago, a cop in Natchitoches died from heat exposure. So they just say tough it out, but their cops are getting killed. Their cops are dying from the heat exposure, being outside and that. Oh, but the courtroom is perfectly a climate friendly place. Why spend all this money to make the courthouse very comfortable when it's just used a few hours a day? I mean, think about people who live in a house who don't have those comforts of a courthouse climate. Okay, there's some advantages for between each other, and not everybody can make accommodations. Guess how the courthouse is making their accommodations? Through fines and fees. They're paying for their perfect climate accommodations through fines and fees, and yet people are okay with this. People are arguing that we should be allowing this to continue. This inequality of accommodations should continue. And I think I want to believe, at least, that the people who are arguing for the perfect accommodations situation for courthouse activity are the ones who work in the courthouse, who are enjoying the benefits of that issue. I would challenge them to go to a courthouse in North Dakota or Montana in January and see how you like it. Sure, yeah, they're able to function, but those are for the locals. Okay, those aren't for people who have to come thousands of miles away to attend a court hearing, or a trial, and then leave. This is for people who only have to travel a mile, who are local, a few miles, who have the vehicles, the tires, the battery strength, who know of the local conditions, who are prepared for that, who have the clothing, who have all of the stuff they need for that local area. And that's a jurisdictional thing. There's jurisdictions are so unique and different from each other, from the north to the south. In comparison, in the Midwest, they're so unique and different, yet we're supposed to look at accommodations as all being the same. The real balanced accommodations, the most balanced accommodations, are all on the Pacific Coast, as far as I'm concerned, where the weather barely makes any fluctuation throughout the day and throughout the year. That's why there's more homeless people in California than anywhere in the country, is because the accommodations, the natural environmental accommodations, don't fluctuate a lot, and they stay pretty much at the midpoint. So I mean, you could definitely adapt to that. I mean, I had no problem sleeping in my car any time of the year along the Pacific Coast. Yeah, I got a little chilly at times, but not deadly cold. Yeah, I got a little hot at times, but not deadly heat. Although I will admit that I did see a report about Portland, Oregon reaching 120 degrees. That's a surprise. Don't know how that came about. But I recently read a report about how Maine got over 100 degrees like last week, but I'm seeing that it's only getting in the 60s when I check the weather. So I don't know. Sometimes I'm a little confused about the reports that I see. But if you compare last year, August 16th, and you see it's over 100 degrees, and you see that they clearly say it's 90 degrees for 90 days guaranteed. And some people say even in the South Louisiana it's 100 degrees 100 days in South Louisiana. Maybe people don't understand the conditions. I'm looking out for myself, but not just that, I'm also looking out for my car too. My car can't handle the high heat. I got electronics in there. I mean, I'm not just making I'm just not looking to make accommodations for myself. I'm looking to make accommodations for my my car too, and all the stuff inside it. So there's more than that. And I've seen reports of in Spain how the cars would erupt in flames due to high heat, or the high heat made the fires worse and took out like almost an entire parking lot. So it's just amazing to me, the type of people who talk about accommodations in 100 degrees.